Tonight, on this emergency backup plan edition of The Small Interview, our guest is either a friend, a crew member, or it could be somebody found just off the street and dragged into the studio to be interviewed. Hello, Rogue Valley, and welcome to another edition of The Small Interview with Glamour Dave. I'm your host, David Glamour Dave Nienow, and today we have an emergency show production of the show, as I just was able to snag this time slot just the other day, and so I'm able to put this show together. And as a special treat, I have as my guest today Laura Rich, who is the Executive Director for the Rogue Valley Chorale Association, which is one of the local singing choirs here in the Valley. And so we're going to talk with her about her life in music and talk about the work of the local Rogue Valley Chorale Association. So we welcome Laura Rich to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So Laura, I just got connected with you just this past week through our mutual friend, Mary Ann Graham.
Yes.
And when I told Mary Ann about this, my doing the show this today, she suggested you as a guest, and so that's why you're here, and so we're here to kind of learn about the association. I'm familiar with the fact that there seems to be like several choir groups around the valley. Your organization seems to be, like, from what I've learned, one of the older ones here in our area.
Yes, we were actually the first community choral group in the Rogue Valley.
Okay.
We have almost a half a century history
Wow.
here in the valley.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
What impresses me even more is some of our original members are still singing.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we have 4 choruses.
Okay.
And so part of what distinguishes our organization is that we can actually start kids off on a pathway toward lifelong singing. And many of the children that come through our youth chorus groups end up joining our adult chorus. And so they sing for life.
Wow.
And that feels very special.
Yeah, when I was going through your website the other night, I saw that that you have youth choruses.
Yes.
And from the pictures I saw, I mean, it looks like some of the choruses are like really large groups of singers. So, like, how many total choruses do you have, adult and youth? And how many total singers are like really involved? Because it looks like a really large group from some of the pictures that I saw. I'm amazed.
It is. It's a large organization. We've got 3 youth choruses.
Wow.
So we
okay.
have an elementary, middle, and high school chorus.
Okay.
And then we have an adult chorus. And all told, we have well over 300 singers.
Wow.
So sometimes we all sing together and provide our youth singers with an opportunity to sing.
Yeah.
At the Criterion Theater, where we are a resident company. We're
Okay.
an arts partner
Okay.
with the Criterion Collier Center.
Yeah. Okay. Now, with the youth choruses, so you got that breaks into 3 groups based on the I'm assuming the age and the school kind of grade levels, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And is there any one of those that's like larger than the others in terms of like student youth participation?
I would say our youngest chorus is the largest one.
Oh, really? Okay.
As kids get older, the opportunities to participate in other activities, they have so much to choose
Right,
from.
yeah.
So it makes it difficult to really settle down into one activity.
Yeah.
But they're all large.
Yeah.
They're all active groups and provide the participants with a really exciting and wonderful extracurricular activity.
Right.
We do a lot with the schools.
Yeah.
So we have a concert series we do in the schools called Spring Sing, just as a way to collaborate with our local school systems.
Yeah. Now, I would imagine that for, well, the oldest youth choir group, I would imagine that a certain percentage of the students, when I'm just curious how you as a group deal with when those students go through the process of their voice changing, right? Because that's something that we all go through,
Right.
right, at a certain point in all our lives.
We address that with our middle school choir.
Yeah.
So that's where it seems to happen. Happen for the boys, and so we call it cantare chorus,
Okay.
which is our middle school choir.
Okay.
And the director is very skilled with knowing how to address a changing voice, going from a treble choir to incorporating lower voices.
Right. Okay.
So
I mean, it's been it's been quite a while since my voice changed.
yeah.
But it's how long? I can't even remember how long the process was for me. But in typical, when someone is going through that process, I mean, is that something that is being contended with for several weeks? Is it, when the director's like moving someone whose voice is changing into placement in the choir? I mean, is it, how long is that kind of a process that you're dealing with?
I think it varies
Yeah.
for each individual. But I believe for most kids, it happens within a year.
Yeah, right.
Maybe, there'll be some voice leaps and cracks, and then it sort of settles into a range.
Yeah.
Our director, Shane Flock is his name. He actually came up through youth choruses.
Oh, okay.
And is now a music educator in the Central Point School District. So he's very skilled. He works with middle school students and high school students, and is wonderful about addressing those issues with the boys.
Right. Now, so you've got the 3 choruses for youth, and then you've got the adult choir.
Right.
And is it only just one, or does it break even into like other groups? Do you?
We have one adult chorus.
One adult
Yeah.
chorus. Okay. And from the pictures I've seen, it looks like you got a pretty large number of adults in that. So how many people are involved in the adult chorus?
On our roster, we've got over 150 adults.
Wow.
At any given concert, there's between 100 and 125 singers.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a large group.
Yeah.
A big sound, beautiful sound.
Yeah, from videos I've seen of, if not of yours, of other choirs in the valley, I mean, it really is a tremendous quality of music that comes across from such a large groups of choirs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing thing to hear.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that there's, that for the choir chorus director, that the process of arranging the individual singers into their sections is like a process, to put that sound together.
Absolutely. It's not only the range of the singer, of the vocal range, but also the quality to make sure that you create the sections so that there's a good blend of sound. So it's not just someone standing up there waving their arms. There's a tremendous degree of artistry involved in creating a beautiful sound with a chorus.
Yeah, it's. I would imagine that for the singers that are brought in, I mean, I'm imagining that everyone's going through a certain kind of a singing or training regimen to keep and get their voices to certain ranges. Is that something that you go through, like group practices to kind of work on that skill?
We're incredibly fortunate to have the artistic director we've got. His name is Michael Morris. And he's got a tremendous history in music. He's himself an opera singer and a voice coach, music voice teacher. And so we begin every rehearsal with some exercises, vocal exercises, just to learn how to keep our voices in shape and how to breathe correctly and posture and all the different components involved in creating a beautiful sound. So he works with us.
Yeah. Now, when I'm assuming that the musical director, he's like the one that kind of like organizes the song sets that are to be performed.
Yes.
All right. So, so I imagine, I'm coming with all these questions from a certain level of ignorance about this particular musical process. So bear with me. But I would imagine, though, that as he composes the song set for a concert that's being planned, that selection of songs in turn affects which of the 150 available singers get called in to be part of a concert performance, right? So that certain singers, I imagine, probably aren't like appropriate for certain kinds of songs.
You know, everybody sings if they're available to sing.
Oh, okay.
Certain people, we have a singer this year who's traveling with their family, and so she won't be able to sing this next concert, but she'll be there for the one following. So everyone is available, is invited to sing. Once they're admitted into the organization, they're invited and encouraged to sing every concert.
Okay.
If they can't for some personal reason, of course, that's life.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, our artistic director, he chooses the repertoire. He's got an artistic committee that he works with to choose the repertoire. We have orchestrated concerts. This year, 2 of our concerts will have orchestra.
Okay.
We have a chamber orchestra that is part of our organization as well. Our final concert, we're collaborating with another choir in the Valley, the Jefferson State Choral Coalition.
Okay.
And so it's a jazz concert, and
Oh,
we'll have
wow.
a jazz band for that concert.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, now where do most of the concert performances take place here in the Valley?
At the Criterion, the Collier Center, the Criterion stage.
All right.
Our youth choruses perform on school district, Medford School District stages.
Okay.
But our adult chorus performs at the Collier Center.
Okay. And as a group, do you also like travel out of the area for certain kinds of events?
We have, yes.
Yeah.
Last year we performed on the Paiute Reservation. We had a piece that was commissioned, and it was written in the language that is in the language family of the Paiute people.
Oh, interesting.
So we traveled
Okay.
and performed there.
Yeah.
We've conducted numerous European tours, and we've performed at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, because I remember reading that of certain choruses locally that were performing in Europe, and so that's like your group, and maybe some of the others have also done it. But to me, that's like a very a really wonderful benchmark of the level of quality of your group's abilities to be able to literally just go to Europe and go overseas and be able to perform.
Yeah,
Right.
it's wonderful also just for the development of the chorus,
Yeah.
for all of us to travel together and
Yeah.
be together, and it develops more of an intimacy in the group,
Yeah.
so that your ability to sing together improves because of the cohesiveness of the group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, from my talking with Mary Ann Graham when she was getting me connected with you for the show, you guys have a fundraiser coming up in early November.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, what's that about?
Well, it's called Soiree and Song. And what we do every 2 years is we host a large fundraising event It's also a way for us to bring in our donors and our supporters and tell them about what's in store, what we're doing in the future, what their dollars are doing to support our organization. It's a way for new people to be brought into the organization as supporters and patrons as well. We usually have somewhere between 250 and 350 guests. It's at the Commons. We showcase a little bit of who we are and what we do. So our kids perform, and some of our adult performers will sing a song or two, and then the whole organization sings as well.
Right.
So it's a wonderful way just to say thank you to our stakeholders, to talk about the future, what we're doing, and to celebrate an evening together.
Yeah. And so the date for that event is?
November 2nd.
Okay.
And it is open to anybody that wants to come, but you need a reservation so we can find a seat for you at a table.
Right, okay. And to place a reservation, they can go through your organization's website?
Yes,
Right.
and just click on the contact page and reach out. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I know we're going to try to also have you come on in October for my Glamour Dave show, which is my Friday live show, and try to give you some more additional exposure a couple of weeks prior to your fundraiser to kind of get the word out again.
That's great.
So I still have to get my dates. So that's this coming week. I get my dates for all my shows, and then I'll let you know, and we'll get you booked again on my Friday live show.
Fabulous.
And I have my RVTV Christmas special that I'm developing, right, for this year's holiday season. And I'd very much like to see if we couldn't get a small segment of your choir to be a part of the Christmas special.
I know we can arrange that.
That'd be great because it's going to has to be a small group. I don't think we could put 150 people in here.
I don't think you'd want to.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it'd be a wonderful thing to kind of have you part of this year's Christmas special.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Now, we've talked about your, how the group kind of goes through its preparation for concerts and the. Is there outside of that, does the organization, are there any educational things that the group offers to the public?
Yes. Our youth choruses have a very strong educational component to them. We're passionate about the arts in the schools, and often will proselytize about the importance of music.
Yeah.
Music is incredibly important for music's sake, but it's also really important for brain development, for developing social skills. There's strong evidence that children that are involved in music do better in mathematics and have better school attendance and graduation rates.
Yeah.
Children that sing in a chorus as adults are more involved in philanthropy and volunteerism. So we take we play a very important role in music in the schools, and we produce a series of concerts every year called Spring Sing. And we find grant money primarily, that will pay for the schools to pay for the buses to bring the children to a concert venue. And the children perform for their peers. And they learn about harmony, they learn about what a conductor does, about maybe singing and joining in a round or a song together. And it motivates a lot of kids to want to sing.
Yeah.
So it's a really important program for encouraging musical involvement among children.
Yeah, that sounds like a really wonderful thing. I mean, I mean, music, most people don't really think about it so much, but music is an incredibly important cornerstone of every society,
Oh, yeah.
right? Uh, and and there's so many benefits to what music does in terms of its impact throughout society. And for the, to me, that those impacts are very positive kinds of things compared to so many other things that are negative in society, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so you know, I love the fact that your organization has this really incredibly strong youth component to it,
Yeah.
and that you really have a strong built connection to the local education system and the schools in our region. So, you know, I can just only commend you and your organization for what you're doing
Thank you.
in that
Yeah.
regard.
Yeah.
In outside of the organization, let's talk a little bit more about you. I mean, what is it that what brought you into the work that you're doing? Because from what I could tell of your story on the website, I mean, you have a pretty long career in this area. So, what originally brought you into this work?
Well, music has always been a part of my life. My mother tells me that I sang before I spoke. She's probably right. And I got involved with music at a very, very young age. And also got involved with dance. So music and dance were what my childhood was all about.
Right.
And when I became an adult, it became my profession. I was a professional singer and musician, and at one point got very involved in West African percussion and dance, and was brought into the university where I was living at the time to administrate the West African music and dance program at the university. So that was my first exposure with arts management. And it was such a powerful vehicle for me because you could really bring and promote the arts in a
Yeah.
community through management. And so I actually went to West Africa and got involved with the Ministry of Arts and Culture there, managing the national performance ensembles of the Republic of Guinea, West Africa. And that was a great training ground for me for doing arts management because it was international.
Yeah.
A lot of grant writing, a lot of having to do translation from the tribal language of the people that I was working with to the language of whatever country we were in.
Right, yeah.
And so I retired from that, and my husband and I moved to Oregon. We decided that we wanted to join the Rogue Valley Chorale, and so both of us are singers in that organization. I joined the board of directors, and one thing led to another, and here I am.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a lot of skills over the years that I've learned. Grant writing is
Yeah.
one of them, and just organizational skills for arts management that I have that in my background. So it's a way I can give back to this really great organization.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really wonderful what your organization does and what you're offering to the Valley. I think your organization represents, as I would say, one of the gems of the Rogue Valley, which actually ties into my show, Gems of the Rogue Valley.
Well,
So,
I agree with you
know,
there.
but I think you are like truly a wonderful gem of an organization.
Yeah, it's a good group. It's
yeah.
a wonderful, wonderful organization.
Yeah. Is there anything at this point, we've just got a few minutes left, that you want to address that I haven't considered or thought of? Because like I say, this is kind of an area that, you know, I'm not deeply familiar with. So what else should the Rogue Valley know about your organization and what you're doing right now?
You know, for parents, if there are children who love to sing, get them singing.
Yeah.
Get them singing. Promote that, because it is so healthy on so many levels for children to sing. If you're an adult who loves to sing, find a chorus and join it, because it feels really good to sing and participate musically with others.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful thing to be doing.
Is there? Do you find that nearly most adults have the capacity to sing to a certain level, or are there some people that just don't have a singing voice? Because I can't think of myself as having a singing voice. So
my mother would tell you no, but I think my mother sings wonderfully, and so
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe everybody can sing. In West Africa, they say, if you can walk, you can dance.
yeah.
If you can talk, you can sing. And if your heart beats, you can play the drums.
Yeah, okay. That's a really wonderful philosophy right
Yeah,
there.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. Well, Laura, I thank you very much for coming on the show, and we hope that the show helps to kind of give some more exposure for everything that you're doing, and helps with your fundraising efforts. And we'll see about what we can do to get you on my show, my Glamour Dave show next month, and get you part of the Christmas special for this year.
Thank you so much. It's
all right.
delightful to be here.
All right, well, thank you. I thank you very much for being on the show. Well, Rogue Valley, we've reached the end of our interview with Laura Rich about the Rogue Valley Chorale Association. I thank her for coming on to the show, and I thank my crew for all their wonderful help and support in putting the show together. And so this ends our show, and we will see you next time, Rogue Valley. And that's it for this edition of the Small Interview for tonight. We're always eager to hear what you have to say, so follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and support this show at our Patreon page at patreon.com/GlamourDave. You can send us your comments to viewer@glamourdave.com.